think we're live here, so let me go ahead and change the slide here and put us on the right one. All right, I believe we're live now, guys, so let's make sure everything's muted. If anybody's on right now and can hear us talking, or at least hear me talking for right now, go ahead and just acknowledge it in the Facebook comments. Hopefully that will have some of you guys in there who can tell us whether or not we're sounding off. Don't see anybody popping on yet, so we'll go ahead and get started. All right, and if anybody joins us while we're live, then that'll be great, and if not, then they can catch the replay. So, for those of you who are brand new to our show, welcome to the Marketing Masters Hangout. I'm your host, Charles Lenore, and those of you who are joining us for the first time, we actually do this every week on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or noon, and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, if you're checking in from around the world, then you're going to have to just, you're going to have to Google it. But so let me introduce the rest of our expert panel here. We've got Mrs. Gloria McDonald. She's broadcasting out of Canada. And then we've got also Jenny Baker, who is broadcasting out of the UK.
Jenny Stevens.
Yeah. That's funny. Jenny Stevens out of UK. Krista Baker, who I was thinking about at the time, is not here right now, but she should be joining us later. She's going to be joining us from the Netherlands. She's doing a little tech stuff right now. So anyway, my mind was trying to move too fast. That's what happens when you get older. But anyway, well, welcome to guys to today's broadcast. And what we try to do every week is we get together and basically try to provide you what's going on in the internet marketing space and how you can build a more profitable business using and leveraging the internet. All right, so we get the top folks here, experts in various fields that can just talk to you all day about the things that you need to do and some really useful tips on how to build your network marketing business, or any business really, to be honest. So today we've got a pretty interesting topic that really some of it may apply to you and some of it may not, depending on where you are in your small business venture, okay? But it's very important that you understand this, because if you are feeling overwhelmed, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed or you feel like you're spinning your wheels, then this particular topic may be very, very useful to you, because today we're going to talk about outsourcing, okay? How you can kind of unload some of those tasks that you may be doing that really you can push off to somebody else, and somebody else can do that will free up your time, or maybe even give you a good return on your investment, simply because you're not spinning your wheels on something that somebody else can do, and you can now concentrate on income producing activities. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot of people don't know when the right time to start outsourcing. You might not even know what outsourcing is, or why it's important to you, or why you should even, listen to today's topic. But if you are going to be in this game for the long haul, then this is something you really need to pay attention to, because you will find yourself spending 8 to 12 hours out of the day doing something that totally takes you off task, takes you off of your schedule, simply because you are determined to play with it instead of pushing it off to somebody else, which is kind of what I was doing the other day. Yeah, which is kind of what I've been doing today. I don't know if I would want to outsource it, but we were, just to give you a little background. So I was talking to Gloria before we came on, and I was telling her all day long. Actually, it started yesterday. I've been playing around with my website. Now I have for those of you who haven't visited my WordPress blog, it was unsecure, and so with the change in times and what Google's doing, and just the fact that you want to keep people from hacking, and you want people to feel comfortable when they come to your website, you should have a secure website. Now, secure, if the website is secure, it's going to say HTTPS, okay? And a little lock is going to come up and all this kind of stuff. And all that's required is that the website owner has to get a security certificate, okay? And so you purchase that and you load it on your site and all that kind of stuff. Well, I did that, and my website worked for like 2 minutes and then it stopped. So if you go to my website, instead of seeing the nice pretty lock that means it's secure, you may see the lock temporarily, and then it goes into a partially secure mode. And so all day long, and probably after this broadcast, I've been trying to narrow down why it's doing that. Okay. So in the course of our today's discussion, I guess the useful tip or the hint might be, if you find yourself in over your head or spending an enormous amount of time doing a task that maybe someone else can do for you, maybe an SEO expert, maybe a website developer or something else, I could pay that person to do that, and I could continue to do the things that I need to do to produce income for my business. So I can concentrate on the income activities, whether it's writing a blog post or doing some Facebook Live video, whatever. But instead, what I'm doing is all day long, and part of last night, I've been playing around with this one task, trying to figure this out. Now,
I'll help you with that afterwards, Charles, because I had something.
Did you have that? Did you have a problem like that?
Issue, yeah.
Oh God, this is driving me absolutely bonkers. Okay, so
this is exactly what not to do, guys.
Yes.
Not do what Charles is doing. I have learned this lesson, and I am so over it, Charles. It's not funny.
Yeah, and see, I'm really and here, I guess the lesson, just using me as an example, the lesson is you can get frustrated, you can feel overwhelmed, you lose a lot of time. Before you know it, the day's gone by, and it could be something very simple, and sometimes we don't want to, honestly, we don't want someone else to do it because of a couple of reasons. One, you may have to pay somebody to do it. Two, you could be stubborn like me. I'm a guy, and it's like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to figure this out. I don't care if,
I'm not that.
Yeah, I don't care if I go to bed tonight, 3 o'clock, or I'm going to get this. And that's okay to a certain extent, right? But when it starts to really interfere with your other activities or other day-to-day things, then it might be time to, push it off on somebody who can do it. I'll give you another example. You guys mind if I give another example?
No.
Just every day, this has nothing to do with websites or anything like that. Okay, this is nothing techie. But this is like coming from a man's perspective kind of thing with fixing stuff in the house. So I'm the type of person that I know a little bit about handyman stuff around the house. So I can fix stuff. My dad taught me how to fix this and that around the house. So before I call somebody to come fix it or spend the money to have the person come in and repair it, I always try to do it myself, especially if I think I've kind of know a little bit about this. So I'll give you an example. So, there's been times where like a toilet in my house will start acting up. Okay, so I go over here to the hardware store, buy the part because I know what part it is and all that. And then I'm like, okay, this, if you YouTube it or anything like that, 10 minutes at the max it should take you to fix this, right? When you have the part and all that. And sometimes I find myself, I start working on a project like that and 10 minutes have gone by. Now it's 20 minutes, 45 minutes, I'm still fooling with something that should have took 10 minutes, right?
Instructions,
Yeah, you bypass instructions, you bypass all that. You just, I got it. I know how to do it. No, it can't be that hard. And it really might not be that hard, but something may happen that you weren't expecting. Like a piece is broken on there that was the underlying piece, not the piece that you originally thought was broken and all that. So there's different things that can happen. But long story short, the same thing happens in real life. We start on a project, we start working on something that we think that we are in control of, and before you know it, you realize, man, this is way out of our league. And you spent all that time wasting away, and you could have called someone who kind of came out there and repaired it because you didn't want to spend $40 or you didn't want to spend $55 for someone to come out there and take care of it and and do it right. So
yeah.
Yeah. I can so agree. I think especially like with website stuff, because I was meant to have somebody help me with my website. Kind of got let down, so I thought, right, okay, I'll figure this out myself. I mean, I could do the bulk of it myself, but you know, hostings and yes, you know, security certificates and all this kind of stuff was so new to me. But I was like, I've got that stubborn streak in me, and I think, you know, I can do this. But and then it just, you get to the point where you're either just going to pull your hair out from frustration. And also with my thing as well, I was launching my own course just before Christmas, and I was running out of time, and I thought, you know what, I got to that point where I had no more brain space. I had no more space to learn another thing, you know. So this is about kind of having it somewhere, you know, a membership site that my students could go in and see, you know, get access to the course. I literally had no more brain space. I thought I was getting to that point of burning out a bit because I've been so busy doing this. And that's when I got to the point, I said, you know what, I can't do this, I need help. And I'm probably similar to you, like I don't find it easy asking for help. But I said, you know what, I said to myself, I can't do this by myself. I'm running out of time, I don't have the brain space. I need to now give up some of my money and pay somebody who can help me. And oh my God, it's such a relief.
Yeah.
To do it. But it is just kind of getting over your own ego or, you know, pig-headedness and just saying, do you know what? I can't do everything as much as I'd love to. I'd love to be Superwoman, but, you know, it's just, in the long haul, it's just not worth it, is it? You know?
No, and in the long haul, it really costs you money. And I remember a long time ago when I started my first business, and I was single, there was no other source of income coming in, you know, it was like my back was up against the wall in order to be able to pay for my house and my car and food and, you know, all the utilities and everything. So it was scary. I mean, I'd lie awake at night thinking, oh my gosh, where's the money going to come from to pay the bills this month? And so when you're in that situation, you know, you really think long and hard before you start something to do stuff. But I learned a really good lesson back then when my back was absolutely up against the wall because I wasted time. And I knew that because I was the only source of income, you know, it was just me, it was all my own, that I had to focus on what were the things that were going to bring money in. And sometimes saving money is not the same as bringing money in. So we're not saying for a second, hey, Krista, we're not saying for a second, go out and waste money and don't try to do anything. But I really learned to focus on the things that are my skills that I'm really good at and find experts to do the things that I'm not good at. So the very first thing I outsourced, and it's been the biggest blessing ever, was a bookkeeper. I found a fantastic bookkeeper. He's been with me for 14 years now. He's amazing, and it makes my life so simple because I know nothing about bookkeeping. I mean, I understand the basics of it, but you know, I was spending hours trying to figure out, you know, how to keep track. I was keeping track of all my expenses and my revenue on an Excel spreadsheet. Don't do that. Not a good idea. You know, it's been so worth it to have that bookkeeper. So the bookkeeper was the first thing I outsourced. And then here's the beauty of it. When it comes time to do your taxes right around now, I don't have to do anything. It's all done. Like literally, he takes care of everything for me. He sends it to my accountant because I've long since, like it's been years since I've tried to fill out my own, you know, tax return. But especially when you have your own business and stuff, it gets a little more complicated.
Yeah, it gets real complicated.
I have a couple different companies and whatever. Starting off with outsourcing the bookkeeping was the best, most intelligent decision I ever made because here's the other thing. He has saved me so much money over the years because there were little things that I didn't know about because I'm not a bookkeeper, right? It's not what I do full-time for a living. So he taught, you know, I thought I knew all the things I could write off in my business, but he found things for me and said, Gloria, look, you can take more, you can write off more here in terms of, office expense or this, that, or the other thing. In the long run, worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
That's my next thing. Yeah, that's my next thing. It's my first thing, because I think that's the thing. Like you were saying, when your back's against the wall. I mean, I'm not I'm at that point, but I think it's such a hard point is deciding when is the right time. It's kind of like, should you wait until you're earning more money? And I think that's that big balance with when do you give up some of your money to pass it over to somebody else. And I think that's probably the biggest bit that goes around probably a lot of like kind of in my position where fairly newish to I've only been out of my full-time job for 6 months now, and it's like, right, okay, to be able to grow, I need to be able to outsource stuff, but it's knowing, like when's the right time? And I think that's probably the biggest question that people ask is when is the right time? And I think probably there isn't necessarily a right time, but
well, I think the right time is when you are when you are with your back against the wall.
Yeah.
In time, when you are hardly sleeping because you can't take on the work, you're too late. You already should have outsourced.
Yes,
the bookkeeping is easy. That's the first thing I did. Although I also have some sort of accounting program that I can keep track myself as well. But the next thing is, I have no idea what I should be outsourcing.
Yeah, well, the next thing for me was an administrative assistant. Like, I really pay attention to what are the things that I do over and over and over and over again that do not require, I literally all the time go through the things that I do in a day and say, okay, does it really take me to do this? Like, is there something that's so incredibly unique and special about me that I have to do this? And I think that's really a challenge for all of us when we have our own businesses. At first, especially when it's your first business, now that I've had one, it's like, okay, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that.
Dishing out tasks.
Yeah, but you know what? Because I do, I make more money. I know I make more money because I'm not afraid to say, okay, Krista, can you help me with this? Jenny, can you help me with this? Charles, you're the only person I'm not paying here yet. But seriously, I sit down and think about, okay, what are the things that I do over and over again every day? Like copy and paste messages or something, Can I pay somebody to do that? Absolutely, or what are those routines that I don't have to do that I can get somebody else to do?
Yeah, I think like one of definitely the things I want to be doing is getting a bookkeeper, a cleaner, because just doing housework. As much as I do like cleaning, but I think just being able to do that decent size clean.
You're sick, Jenny. You're sick.
I don't love it, but I like the satisfaction when you work for an hour and you're like, oh, the house looks lovely. Like, I did that. But
you know what I like? Especially of coming home and the house is clean.
But then it's something to post on social media for me. Like, for me, that's not something I particularly enjoy that much. Even though it doesn't take much time, it's one of those tasks that it doesn't need me to do. It's like, I can guide somebody with the kind of posts that I want, the kind of things that I want. But I think you made a really good point, actually, is like Krista was saying about when you're so busy in time, then, you can then outsource. But then Gloria made a good point in terms of it's actually noticing the things that aren't your strengths. And I think those are almost like kind of two separate things, aren't they? You've got stuff that you just don't, you don't have time to, it doesn't need you, but also what stuff aren't you good at? And don't stress about trying to learn how to be an Excel guru or how to be a bookkeeper or a social media manager and everything else. And,
I just don't do those things.
Use the people that are good at it.
Yeah, I don't post for my business online. It's not.
No, it depends on the business, obviously, doesn't it? But things like network marketing,
there you shoot.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of need to be putting content out there and doing things. It's like if I want to record videos, but I don't have to edit them, I can hire somebody else to edit the videos. So it's all those tasks, isn't it, that you can try and think of.
You know, the funny thing is, what I'm thinking of outsourcing is someone to build my website.
There you go.
You feel others. That's how ironic.
I've got somebody for you, Krista.
You do? Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
But then I suppose actually, that's kind of a something to think about. Is actually you're prioritizing other people over yourself, isn't it? Which a lot of us do. You know, we kind of sacrifice our own time to make sure that we, fulfill other jobs, especially if you're in that kind of service-based business, isn't it? You know, it's like, well, your website, like to making sure someone else is, because that's what you do, is you do websites and stuff. Make sure someone else is done is a bigger priority than you doing your own.
So the real thing here, I think that our audience needs to be aware of is when you're talking about outsourcing, it kind of correlates to some other things that we've talked about in other broadcasts, like mentoring and coaching, and all this means is you have recognized that there's a time and a place in your business that if you want to grow it, then you have to let certain things go. And Jenny said it really, really good in the beginning. The 3-letter word that gets most of us is ego, right? We just think we don't need help, or we think that we can do it all by ourselves, or we gonna, if I can't do it, nobody can do it, and all that. And so that 3-letter word right there gets a lot of us into problems when it comes to owning and running a business. And so there's going to be a lot of, and if you learn this early enough that, hey, I'm not the one that needs to be doing everything, or I need assistance. I don't know how to recruit. I don't know how to sponsor. I don't know how to build a large team. I don't know all these different things. So I need a mentor. I need a coach to kind of get me going right from the beginning. It's almost like having a fitness trainer. You got someone that's pushing you, calling you accountable, but you're going to do the work, but they're going to push you and hold you accountable. So with outsourcing, it's like, hey, you recognize that I don't need to do everything. There are other people that can do it better than I probably can. All right. But it allows me to focus on something that really is important towards growing my business. Because if you try to do everything that's required, it's sort of like the marketing, message to marketing stuff that we talk about. You trying to do everything, you're not going to be doing anything. Right. So you try to market everybody, you're not marketing anybody. So you really have to try to let go.
I think, I look at the kind of leaders that are in my kind of old network marketing company, and I just think, one of them has actually hired an assistant now, but I think, I think this is when either you don't have systems in place or certain things, but I think about people who have got thousands and thousands and thousands of people in their downline. It's like just hiring a VA, a virtual assistant, or somebody to help you out, because you just think logically about what tasks could, you're bound to have a Facebook team group. So, getting people into that group, you don't have to be sitting there going through all the requests or sending friend requests to your new teammates and, getting them in like that kind of stuff, or sending them a welcome message or email or whatever, and it's those things that I bet a lot of people do at quite high stakes. They'll do some of that stuff. And, I think that's where having systems in place helps so much. Like, if you're having new teammates, is have something automated where, they can go through an introduction email series with, right, join the group, click this button, schedule a call with me, your first kind of intro call. I don't know, they go through these training videos and things like that. Whereas if you're doing that manually by messaging somebody, it's going to take so much more of your time that, I think, wow, if you've got quite high up with doing things like that, imagine what you can do once you get some of that stuff out. And I see it so, say with people in my network marketing that I'm still friended on Facebook and stuff, and I think, God, why aren't you getting more help? Because you're earning multiple 6 figures and you're still probably doing the majority of stuff manually.
Well, that's a good point, because that is what gets a lot of top earners in the problems, right? Is when they don't learn how to let go of stuff. So they burn out really fast because they're trying to do everything, or basically what they've done is they've embraced their growth and turn it into a job versus allowing it to be financial freedom for you. So now understanding that this outsourcing really depends on where you are in your business. Okay, you just getting started, you're probably not going to need to outsource something right away, because some of the things you want to learn so you have a little idea about what it is that you can outsource. Because if you don't take the time to learn, you know, what a capture page is or what a website or a blog can do, then when you experience problems with it, you won't know, this is something I need to outsource, or this is something I can take care of myself, and which one is, if it's time consuming or not, and you should outsource it. So you got to kind of know a little bit in order to be able to say, okay, all right, I'm at this point where I need to outsource this because this is going to take a lot of time. I already know because, you know, I've been on a blog for a while or whatever. And so, but when you first come on board, you know, you may not want to outsource, but automation is maybe what you ought to be thinking about, which what Jenny was just talking about. Some things you can automate.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? It's either time or money. Like when I was working full time, I needed systems, I needed automation to be able to have a lot of that initial conversations and prospecting be able to happen for me while I was at work or while I was sleeping. So that could happen. I could have new prospects, you know, putting themselves onto my email list, reaching out to me, booking calls with me. I could make sales, and it could all happen with the system that I plugged into and I was able to utilize for my business. And that was an absolute game changer for me. It meant I wasn't chained to my phone in every spare hour in my lunch break, you know, messaging people. I used to take my laptop to work and I would sit at lunchtime with my laptop doing stuff just to try and make use of the time. Whereas actually once I gave up some money, invested in being able to learn how to have some systems and how to do things online in a better way, then I got time back. And so you either have to give up that time and money. But yeah, automation for me while I was working full time was the thing that really ticked a huge box with the frustration that I had, you know. But now now my full-time job is gone, now it's different things. Now I've got lots of time, but it's not necessarily utilizing the best tasks with my time. So now it's a different place with my business. So like you said, Charles, it really does depend where you are, doesn't it?
Yeah, Catherine said that having a virtual assistant was the best thing that she ever did. So yeah, so I think when Gloria mentioned that, I was thinking to myself, that's probably one of the most overlooked and underappreciated things is having a virtual assistant, because you don't realize all the little tasks that are bogging you down until you start passing them off on somebody who's doing all that for you every day, and freeing up your time. And then it really makes sense to you.
And you know, I want to slightly disagree, because we know that's my job to disagree.
Batter up.
No,
we love you for it.
I should say, I should learn how to reword it. Here's another point of view. How about that?
Yeah.
I think so often when people are getting started in network marketing, say, lots of times people have a full-time job, right? And they're trying to grow this business on the side, and we all know that is challenging. It just is. You know, and this hype that, oh, you can build it in just 5 to 10 hours a week and fit it in the nooks and crannies, and that you're going to build a 6-figure business fitting it in the nooks and crannies is a load of crap. Absolute load of crap. But there are so many things that you really can have a virtual assistant do, and the beauty these days with the internet is that truly your assistant does not, I mean, when I started my business ages ago, my first business, not this one, I had to have an assistant come to my house because there was no way to do all the kinds of things we can do today online, because it just didn't exist in the same way. But now, like, look, you know, I've got people, I'm just thinking about this. So Krista does work for me and she's in the Netherlands. Jenny does work for me and she's in the UK. Terry does work for me and she's in Hawaii. And I've got another woman who does work for me who's like 3 hours north of me in the hinterlands in Canada here. You know, nobody that works with me is actually here in Toronto. And it's seamless. It really is seamless. So there's so many things that if you're just starting off and you're trying to build your network marketing business, there are so many things that you can right out of the gates have a virtual assistant help you with. You know, if you're trying to build on LinkedIn, you can have a virtual assistant spend 15 minutes a day inviting a whole bunch of people to connect with you. I mean, that's what my virtual assistant does. I give her names of the network marketing companies I want to target. In fact, I did it today. I give her five network marketing companies I wanted her to target. And because she's just finished a whole batch of other ones. And I said, here are the next 5. And she spends time every day inviting people to connect with me. I give her the messages that I want her to send to people. She sends the messages out. You know, I monitor it. I pay attention every single day to how many new connections I have. I see the notifications of people who message me back, so I monitor it. You know, I'm not just saying, here you go, and I don't pay attention to my business anymore. But, you know, and she also does my post planner stuff for Facebook, you know, just all the motivational, inspirational posts. Again, I've had a Zoom meeting with her because she doesn't live here. I've had a Zoom meeting with her and said, okay, these are the kinds of posts I want. Again, I monitor it. She's got it. You know, the posts she puts on Facebook for me are bang on. They're exactly the kinds of things I would choose. So if you're working full time and you're trying to build your network marketing business, there are still things that you can do right out of the gates to have a virtual assistant help you build an online presence, help you build a presence on social media and grow your network.
I think one question, because obviously I've not outsourced anything yet, I say it's definitely, I've got to do, I think that it's my next step to do is to start outsourcing stuff. I think one question, like I always have, it's the same when people have hired me, is knowing, okay, well, how much should you pay? You know, how much is, I think that can be quite a bit of a scary bit to know, well, how much should you charge, or how much should you pay for somebody? Are you going to get ripped off? Is it, you know, like that? You know, where do you go to actually find people? So I mean, I know of a couple of sites, but maybe the fact that Gloria, you use some of this stuff, maybe you can kind of give some tips or something that you've found for actually kind of where to go and maybe how you sort of judge how to pay, because I think that's probably quite a common question.
Yeah, those are 2 great questions, Jenny. Well, one of the things that I did, and you know, if you're in network marketing, you've got a community within your network marketing company, then I would recommend posting within the community in your network marketing company, you know, I'm hiring. Do you know anybody who's looking? Because that's exactly what I did. I just put the word out, and instantly, literally, people within our community raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested. So it's so helpful if you can find somebody within your community who already gets the business.
Yeah.
You know? So you're not training them from scratch. So you'll be surprised at people within your community. So if you're in network marketing, you know, go to either like the Elite Marketing Pro community that we're all in, or the community within your network marketing company. And then in terms of what you pay people, I probably pay more than I should, because, I mean, people do tell me I pay more than I should for my virtual assistants. I mean, this is just me personally. I don't pay anybody minimum wage. To me, that's way, 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 way too low. But there are plenty of virtual assistants out there that are getting paid minimum wage. So, you know, whatever your minimum wage is, I mean, I pay significantly more than minimum wage. Most people, like I've spoken to other people in the industry that have virtual assistants, and now this is US dollars, right? They tend to pay about $15 an hour. I pay significantly more than that, just because I'm a suck. And I feel like I work with really good people, and I really respect and admire the people that I work with, and they're important to me, and I want to let them know that the work that they're doing for me is important to me. So.
I know when I was looking, you know, been looking around at, you know, kind of thinking about, okay, do I add this as like other another stream of income. I could actually do some other things for other people, like I could do some graphics for people and stuff. I just Googled it, and actually there's loads of communities out there that you can look up, so you can get a bit of a feel for what people charge, what you can pay, so that can give you an idea of what you can pay. There's a good site called Upwork, that's quite a good one, isn't it? There's loads of different stuff on there. Lots of different roles, like if you're looking for design, if you're looking for virtual assistants and stuff.
Fiverr's another good one. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Also, I think, I think that's a good point about your network marketing team is actually you could be speaking to, like for me, I was working full time, so I had that income, but you could have somebody who is working full time and could just do with somebody, maybe helping them post or something. There could be somebody else who's maybe a mum who is maybe on maternity leave or something, who's due to go back to work soon, and actually just having that little bit of extra money could massively help, so
Absolutely.
That's a really good tip actually, Laura. I think that's good.
Yeah, and not all jobs are created equal, right? So somebody's copying and pasting messages or inviting people to connect with you and literally just doing point, click, copy, paste, point, click, copy. That is not the same as somebody who's doing technical work for you. So, when I said minimum wage, I'm not talking about someone who's building a website for you, someone who's building membership sites for you is not being paid minimum wage at all. And, I use Fiverr. I use Fiverr all the time to help me design logos and, images for my, covers for my ebooks and things like that. But don't confuse Fiverr prices with virtual assistant prices either. No. Those are not the same at all.
No.
And you get what you pay for, seriously.
Yeah.
To me, it's important that people I'm speaking to actually speak English. And I get to pay for them. It's a minor detail, but.
It's a big detail.
I got a logo made once on Fiverr, and it was hard work. I mean, she did speak English, but even just. It wasn't the best experience. I was like, this was meant to be saving me time, and it ended up taking so much more time. I was like, I could have done this myself, which was frustrating because for me to actually give up doing something was like quite a moment. And then you're like, you're rubbish. I could have done it better myself. But,
yeah, I happened to find a Fiverr guy. Don't know how. It was just sheer luck. Who actually lives in Canada, and English totally appears to be his first language. I mean, there's nothing about his communication that looks like, anything that a non-native English speaker wouldn't say. Yeah. It's a dream. But I
think they will say with Fiverr is to go with, the top rated and lots of, fives, and try and find someone that maybe someone is using and get a referral, because there's so many people on there you could get caught out, so look for ones that have got loads of ratings and reviews and stuff that are good.
And you might have to pay a little bit more.
That's that, but that's always the case, if you go for the lowest price possible and you squeeze a little discount out of it as well, the quality of what you get is squeezed out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like having a steak, isn't it? It's like when you could have the best steak from a cow, but it costs how much? £15, or you could have a steak that's £3 and you wonder why it's all bristly and horrible. It's like, because you're paying for crap cuts of the meat, not like top rump or sirloin or filet or whatever, it's not cow, but it's just not going to be the better quality one. You've got to pay more for it.
Yeah, a hamburger from McDonald's is not going to taste the same as the steak, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's true.
No, I dug out this just now because I went to an event last May in London, and the guy who was running it had a really good little presentation where he talked about kind of going from 5 figures to 6 figures and then 6 figures to 7 figures. And he kind of went through all the different stages. So I thought I would just do a couple of little things for it as it just might help. So I think that's the point, isn't it? I think when people are earning 5 figures, want to get to that 6 figure mark. And then once you're doing 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, then you want to get to the next bit. So what does it take? And one of the simple things was about the time. So it's actually knowing, like Gloria said, it's actually, spend some time to know what are the tasks. So you can break things down into kind of $10 tasks, $100 tasks, and $1,000 tasks. So kind of think about the things that, you know, you could pay somebody to do, you know. So initially, when you're just starting, more than likely you're going to be doing all of it. But then once you kind of get to 5 figures, then you want to ditch out the $10 and you can kind of move those out to somebody else. So then you're just doing them the 100 and the 1,000. And then this guy, I mean, he said then if you want to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, you need to get rid of the $100 tasks. So that, like Gloria mentioned, that the things that kind of really only you know, that need only you, so your skills, your real specialty that makes you amazing, you know, those are the things that you then focus on. So if you are amazing at being a coach, you know, or mindset, or doing, you know, video, you know, whatever it is that you need to do that is making you get to a 6-figure, nearly 7-figure business, is getting rid of those other things. And it was then kind of like, you know, he went through other things like what should your marketing budget be, you know, what kind of products or services have you got. So if you're kind of 5-figure mark, you might just have a single offer potentially. Then if you want to go to 6 figures, you're going to need kind of multiple offers, kind of over 2,000, and then 7 figures you want multiple, kind of 10,000 plus. What was the other thing that was really helpful that he mentioned? Yeah, so people. So again, you know, if you 5 figures, you don't necessarily need to have a team, but I think it could help. Then 6 figures, you definitely want part-timers and some outsourcers. And then once you want to get to 7 figures, you really need a full-time team. So, I mean, there was loads more. I'm not going to go all over it now, but it was just really useful, actually, just to kind of see some of those steps to kind of go from 5 to 6 to 6 to 7, to really know, like, you know, if that's what you're wanting, if you want to have $1 million business, you've got to grow with it, and you've got to, you know, have a team and grow people. And
I always think it's kind of ironic that we are all like wanting to be free, you know, work for ourselves, do not have a boss, and then to hire someone, you know, it's kind of
you become the boss.
Yeah, but that's it's part of the deal.
But like with us, you know, we're all freelance, you know, so we all decide our own hours. I think that's the big difference, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we can all have teams or work for other people, but the nice thing is we can pretty much decide our days, you know, decide how many hours we do, or what time we start, you know. And I think that's the bit. And, you know, if you were going on holiday for a week or 2 weeks, I mean, that's when you need systems that things can happen. Or, you know, then you just say, okay, I'm not going to be around for 2 weeks, but you can get someone else just for a couple of weeks to maybe take over some of those little tasks.
Yeah, or just bring your laptop and
or work from the beach or the cruise ship.
Yeah, try to get Wi-Fi on the cruise ship.
yes.
Or not. Yeah, another thing that's really difficult, I know it was difficult for me anyway, and it's so interesting, like going through this a second time, you know, creating a multiple 7-figure business a second time. It's easier, it's definitely easier the second time, it's infinitely easier the second time. But it still brings back twinges of, oh, I remember this phase, oh, you know. And I just went through it several weeks ago where all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, it's happening. Because you start out doing everything yourself. I mean, yes, I had this bookkeeper, so I've never done the bookkeeping all myself. I mean, when I first started out, I did the Excel spreadsheets. But since I hired a bookkeeper, you know, yes, I started, now I'm starting another business, but I didn't go back to Excel spreadsheets like I kept him, you know. But I did go back to doing everything other than bookkeeping myself. You know, creating all my file folders, doing all the administrative stuff, everything myself. And then, you know, I started with an administrative assistant who was doing posting for me and inviting people to connect on LinkedIn. And I needed technical expertise. So, you know, I hired Krista, and then I needed social media management. So I hired Jenny, and then I hired another person to do some more virtual assistant stuff for me. And then it got to the place where, okay, now it's big enough that I don't know how to do everything myself anymore. You know, there are people doing things for me, and if something happened to them, I don't know how to do it.
You need to find someone else.
Yeah, I have to find someone else. Now, and you have to be okay with that. And you are not going to be able to grow a multiple six-figure business if you can't let go. Because there are just not enough hours in the day. So it was the middle of February. I remember it really clearly. It was a Saturday morning, and it was like, ooh, my baby's growing. You know, it's kind of like letting your baby go off to school, go off to kindergarten for the very first time. My baby grew, and it's out of the house now. My baby's out of the house now, and there's no bringing him back, you know? He's out of the house. And you have to let go. It's just like you have to let go of your kids, right? Your kids have to go to school, you know? And
I'm not to let go of anything. I'm screwed.
And so it's with your business, but if you can't let it go, you know, if you really believe that you are the only person on the face of the earth who can do it, that you're so important that nobody else can do it as well as you can do it, you're sunk. You never create a multiple 6 or 7 figure business. No, can't.
No. But I can tell you, Gloria, being part of that, letting go, you know, and walking along with your baby.
We're walking my baby to school, Krista.
But the thing is, you are a person that gives so much trust and faith in the persons that do this for you, that it makes the growing for you so much more easy, because you give all this trust in me. I can excel in what I do. That's really big. I think that's something that not a lot of people have.
I think
what you do.
Some people, they outsource but micromanage. And I think that's like Chris said, you know, that's when, you know, like if you ever worked in a job and you just had one of those managers that was just check on everything that you do, and, you know, you're there with, you know, looking at the clock, seeing what time you get in. And then for me, that's the worst thing. When I worked for, you know, full time for how many years, it's like, you know, we have these kind of yearly engagement surveys to make sure that, you know, the teams are happy and, you know, involved and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's just that, that's the opposite you could do. It's like, yeah, I need to have that trust. Let me, like Chris said, let me excel, or let you excel. Do the things that you're good at. If you feel like you're being watched and micromanaged and, you know, checked up on and stuff, then it's not going to be an enjoyable place to be. It's kind of like, well, now you're just being I mean, obviously you are still their boss because you're paying them, but yeah, I think having that trust, and I guess initially it's going to be a bit of a getting, especially if they're a stranger, if you don't really know them. I guess that must be quite difficult. With kind of, you're trying to suss them out, they're trying to suss you out, see how they're doing. So we'll have to be, you know, like, but then like Gloria said, you're still monitoring stuff, but it's just, you don't want to be on their back.
I think that there are so many things you can do. I mean, the Fiverr guy that I use is the only stranger, right? I know people before I hire them. And I think that really, even with virtual assistants these days, sure, you can go to, you know, somewhere and hire a virtual assistant that you don't know, but I think it's amazingly easy to find people who you already know in your network, you know, by asking, just putting the word out.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking to hire anybody. You know, do you know anybody? And I've been shocked. I've been shocked at people who've raised their hand and said, yeah, you know, I'm interested in doing that. So I think we judge for other people and we say, no, they wouldn't be interested in that. No, you know, I'm only paying X dollars an hour, that's way below them or whatever. So don't judge. And
I've got friends lining up waiting for me to hire out. Like, they kind of sort of half joked, but I know, I know I would have friends of mine that live locally that, you know, their mums. I've got a guy who I went to college with. We kind of reconnected a few months ago, and he was like, honestly, if you were ever hiring out, please, I hate my plastering job. I'd do anything. I'm like, really? But, you know, I know I would have friends. If they could be able to earn a bit of money while working from home, doing some really simple stuff, they jump at the chance, because to most people outside of our industry, you know, kind of network marketing, online marketing stuff, it's like, oh my God, you're quitting your job and you're working from home? What? You know, it's so sort of, holy crap. But actually, I think then when they see any of us, you know, or somebody real that's doing it and loving it and making money and stuff, that it gives them that, oh, maybe I could do it. Ooh, you know.
Now, I will give one word of advice. Don't ever, ever, ever hire your son's girlfriend. That was a big, big, big mistake, because I had to fire her, and then it was not pretty because they were still dating.
Oh, God.
So note to self, don't ever hire your son's girlfriend.
Yeah, it's almost like the family thing. You don't really want to.
Yeah, I don't think to be honest, I don't think I'd want friends or family to hire them. I think it would be a bit weird. I think I'd rather have, people that are at least involved in the industry that I know. But
yeah, it has its pros and cons. I mean, you want to help family a lot of times. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it'd be nice to have my family working with this, or my cousin or whatever. But at the same time, it's also like, you know, they're the same ones that may be lazy, or they'll say, well, since I know them, I'll get to it when I get to it. And they don't have the same drive behind it or the same passion as you do. And then so now you're fighting with them because they didn't get something done you need to get done. And it can be a mess. So, yeah. So the same reason why you don't want to chase friends and family to sign them up for your opportunity, the same reason why you don't want to hire them. You know, so just something to think about. But anyway. Wow. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking for my first teammate, I reckon, in the next few weeks. That's gonna be my mission.
Yay! Cool.
Awesome. Well, what else are we going to talk about? So we've covered a wide range of different ideas, different tips and recommendations when it comes to outsourcing. You know, we kind of covered what outsourcing is, why it's important that you do it, at what point you should do it. You know, there's a couple of various points here. Some that say, you know, do as early as possible. Some maybe saying it's do a little later on once you kind of understand some of the things that you got going on. So there's different viewpoints, all right, when it comes to whether you should get an outsource or outsource some things when you're first getting into business or as your business is growing. But the important thing to understand about all this is that that most people do not, you know, recognize is that there is outsourcing out there. All right, and there are people out there that can do some of the tasks that bog you down on a daily basis. And as long as you can lose that 3-letter word called ego, as long as you understand you're running a business and you're going to have to invest some of your, not only your time, but some of your money into outsourcing or letting other people take care of some tasks that are maybe not income producing activities, then you need to be willing to do it. Because if you don't, you may experience growth, but you'll find yourself frustrated. You'll find yourself quickly overwhelmed, and you'll be pulling your hair out saying to yourself, I thought this was going to be, you know, easy, and I thought I was going to be my own boss and sit back and be on the beaches and relax, and then you're behind the computer all the time, or you're on the phone all the time trying to take care of little knickknacks that someone else could be doing for you. So remember, you're working a business. You got to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a true entrepreneur and a true business owner. And a true business owner knows at what point to let other people do things for them, because if you don't, you might as well just go get a job. Is that fair enough? Does that sound like pretty much the point?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So so be aware, those the top earners in your company, the top leaders earning 5-6 figures and stuff, they're probably not doing everything. They probably have VAs, virtual assistants. They probably have people that are working on their websites. They probably have, I mean, heck, we can talk, for example, Ray Hagan. I remember talking to Ray one time. He's like, look, when he first started blogging, you know, to get himself branded and get himself out there, he was doing everything. He's doing all the posts and all that. But after so long, you know, and after he got his website really established, he doesn't write all those posts on his. He outsources that. Somebody writes for him. All right, he's not sitting behind a computer writing, you know, blog posts about network marketing and all. Someone is doing that for him. All right, so, you know, and I can't imagine watching Ray behind his computer trying to type. I mean, he'll tell you all day. Slides that he makes or the presentations he does, he doesn't put together all that stuff. He don't know how to do any of that stuff. He's just like,
I think that stuff that takes ages, doesn't it? You know, like if you're doing a webinar or something, some of those tasks, so like creating those slides, writing out, you know, the emails and everything that goes with it. You know, I mean, initially you need to do it to understand it and stuff, but it takes so much time. That's
time consuming, very time consuming.
Is your time, you know, you've got your income or result kind of driven tasks. Like we learned at kind of a workshop. Then you've got your preparation tasks, which is the stuff I get caught up in preparation tasks way too much. That's my downfall. You know, it's writing the blog post, writing the emails, doing all the stuff in preparation for things. And then you've got your distraction tasks. So things like, you know, texting your friends or being on Facebook and, you know, all those kind of things. So it's kind of having that balance between, I think, was it like 60% of your results-driven tasks and then about 35 or something on your preparation and 5% on distraction. And that was quite a nice way to look at it. But yeah, let's say a lot of this stuff, it takes, once you start doing online things, like you've got a website, a blog, you're starting to do more of these things, it does take time. But yeah, that's the thing. Say editing videos, you know, putting a Facebook Live video, downloading, uploading to YouTube, you know, get your kid or, you know, nephew or someone to do that for you. You know, there's a really easy task that actually other people can do for you while you're, you know, having that call with a brand new teammate or, you know, helping them. If you are doing three-way calls or three-way messages or whatever you're wanting to do, things that need you to do. So yeah, that was quite a good, useful bit, was kind of understanding the tasks. I think is one big thing we need to actually do in the first place. Understand what tasks fall in what section, and then try and be aware if you're kind of spending 3 hours doing something that's maybe like a preparation type task, is just be aware of it and be like, oh, do you know what? Let's stop this and at least go and do something that's going to make you money. Go and do a Facebook Live or send an email to your list or, you know, pick up the phone and go and call a customer or whatever you want to do. Do that.
Yep. All right. Well, look, guys, I think we're again at the top of the hour, as we always do. The discussion seemed to go really fast. 60 minutes is it starts out like well, we're gonna have a lot of time, and before you know it, we look at the clock and it's already time to break. So respecting your time out there, whoever may be watching, or if you're catching this as a replay, we are at the top of the hour, and so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But one thing that we always like to do is just kind of let y'all know that a lot of the information that we are passing on to y'all, or a lot of the stuff that we personally have learned or that has helped us grow, you know, our businesses and put us into a very profitable business, is the community that we're all a part of, called EMP. And I would recommend that if you have not heard of EMP, or you've heard of it but you really, we're on the fence about whether you should join or not, then I would encourage you to actually be a part of our community, because you will meet fantastic people like myself and these three ladies that I host with each week. And you will meet a whole lot of other people who are willing to help you grow your business. And when I mean help, I really mean help. And so you'll get two pieces. You'll get a lot of help, and you'll get a lot of people that will hold you accountable for what you're trying to do. And so we push each other each and every week throughout the whole year till we are at the point where we feel like we have accomplished what it is that we're trying to accomplish during the year. So you want to be a part of that community, the community that we're all a part of. I encourage you to click on the green button to get started, right, and become a member of EMP. Or if you just feel like you need a little bit more information, then you can click on the yellow button and get some more information about EMP and what they do. But I really would recommend that you just get started right away with the green button. I mean, for the little investment that you're going to put forth, it will be well worth it, trust me. All right. And so anyway, so we hope that you guys have a productive week. We hope that you understand the importance of outsourcing, what it is and what it can do for you. Right now, you may be at a point in your business where you just, it doesn't make sense for you to do it right now, or, you know, you're not ready to do that yet. But the thing that we want to do is, in this broadcast and all the broadcasts that we have, is try to make you think about things that you haven't thought about yet, or the things that may be on the horizon. So right now your mindset may be, well, I'm not at that point, but at some point you're going to get there, and you're going to grow, and your business is going to grow. And these are some of the things that we all wish, you know, that we had known, or someone had told us when we were, you know, building our business, so that we wouldn't make some of the early mistakes or feel some of the growing pains of growing a business, you know, 5-6 figures before someone says, hey, you ever thought about outsourcing that? Oh yeah. You know, but you know, you've already been frustrated, disappointed, overwhelmed at that point. So we're trying to save you guys from doing that. So anyway, having said that, hope you guys have a really, really productive week, and that you join us again next week, same time, same place, and we'll have a different topic for you guys to continue to help you grow your business, leverage the internet, and build a very profitable business, okay? So until then, unless anybody has anything else, we'll go ahead and end today's broadcast. So
thanks very much, everybody.
Yeah, take care, and we'll see you guys real soon. Bye-bye.